So, hello, my friends, and welcome to this special 4th of July vlog of sorts. Figured I'd do this right now because, well, on the 4th, I'm gonna be a bit busy. So, here's the thing. Hopefully, everybody will have a safe, because we do safe around here, and happy and enjoyable 4th of July. Let's get that out of the way. On my end, as far as California is concerned, well, if you don't know, the 4th usually means Anime Expo. And if you can't hear in the background, there's some fireworks going off. Very faint ones, but they're heir apparent. I've been busy with a lot of projects as of late. As most of you can tell, most of them being different games for the channel. I've already got back on Metafight. You know it better as Blaster Master. So I'm just about done with that. I've already shown off Casino Kid. The next one I have to show off would be Strider Hiru for the NES, based off the manga. And after that, well, we'll be going back to Persona 5. As well as I'm starting up a new project called UFO Robo Grendizer Feast of the Wolves. The Steam version, not the GOG version. The GOG version is a little unstable, as it were. But the Steam version, as far as I've been playing it, is a bit more stable than the GOG version. Not to say that I didn't enjoy the GOG version. It's more like it's a little more balanced. I got a little farther than that. And it only happened in 2 videos. So, aside from that, no, we're still continuing Kamekame, even though in August, I'm going to take a short break from doing anime games and just, well, I'm going to do a few RPGs because, RPGs are my go-to. I actually started working on 2. Or actually, I went back to coming back to something I started earlier during summer, and something I started not too long ago over the weekend before July actually came in. So these 2 games, well, I should say this. It is my first official Saturn LP that I'm actually just, getting around doing. And that's Albert Odyssey Gaiden, or Albert Odyssey The Legend of Edine. Now, I did a lot of digging for Saturn because there are a lot of games that never got spotlighted per se because PlayStation basically showed off a lot more than Saturn. So I did manage to get a few Saturn games that are there, even though they have never seen the light of day. And a few, which you have heard of, but again, never got a chance to properly show itself off in the spotlight. It is what it is, but still. Aside from that, I still have Persona 5 Royal to finish. That's going to take a while. So the lineup for next week would be, in no particular order, the rest of Metafight, UFO Robo Grendizer, and of course Pike, Grendizer, P5O. Oh, and SRW, of course. I am not really done with the week yet, so there'll probably be more before this week is done, actually. And by the way, this is done. This is done on the 3rd. So, like I said, the 4th will be here in a few hours. I do have plans to go out on the 4th. I've been invited out. Just the other day, right after therapy. Therapy can really wear you out. Aside from that, all I've been doing outside of that is really just make sure that's there. All I've been doing outside of that is just basically the usual. So especially when on here. The usual being I'm basically playing catch up with all the days I've been missing since I've been so busy with everything else off site. It is tiresome sometimes, but another thing I need to point out is next Tuesday actually, there's going to be a new poetry group I'm going to join over at the church. They've been keeping that like under lock and key about having it, but they haven't said where it's going to be held at. So I'll probably learn about it over the course of this weekend, being it's the first week end of July. Of course, the first Sunday always means communion. So more likely, this is how it usually is. Every Sunday or every other Sunday, if we don't have normal service, which starts off with praise and worship, then the message, then offering, and following at, well, not after offering. If it's first Sunday, it's going to be longer because communion. So it usually starts off with praise and worship, the message, invitation, offering, communion. Sometimes it's communion and then offering, or offering and communion. And then after that, it's technically just advertisements, and then we leave. And we had to listen to that for like 3 hours. 3 or 4 hours, give or take. Depending on how long it's being stretched. But usually church service lasts for at least 3 hours at the most, if stretched 4. But then again, I leave around 1. I leave around 1 anyway when I get back, so it's nothing new really. Aside from that, yeah, it's basically me catching up to everything that I've been slowed down to because of life. So, what that means for streams, well, that means if I gotta stream something, it's gonna be over on YouTube. Because after what happened to me on Twitch, yeah, no, I kind of feel safer on YouTube. It's my quote-unquote work site anyway. Aside from that, I still plan on continue streaming. I plan to, I think when everything kind of slows down to where I can play catch up with every week as scheduled, because I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think, 5 days of content I need to pick up on, with, say, about 2 or 3 ahead. 2, maybe 3 weeks ahead to do, and that's done in August. Another game I am already working on, and it's already posted for August, is Ys 9, Monstrum Nox. It has been a long time since I actually played an Ys game, and the last one I actually ever had and ever played and finished was Lacrimosa of Dana. And for those who are wondering, do not ask about the timeline. Trust me, Ryu and I spent a day or a couple hours looking through the timeline, and the timeline makes no goddamn sense. So if you're ever asking, my advice to anyone who is new to the series, just play it in order of appearance. How you want to do it, that's on you, but in order of appearance, just go from 1 to 9 or 1 to 10. Because 10 is the latest one, probably the last one. We're not sure. Falcom's not sure. Hell, if you want confusing, hell, go over to Kiseki. Kiseki, or the Legend of Heroes series, the Trail series, is even more lopsided as far as timeline goes, but I have words for that, but then again, I kind of know my limits when trying to figure out everything else as far as that's concerned. What else? I've been working on something else too, or rather, I should be working on something else that I did as a test stream of sorts, and that was with RetroArch. And the one thing I plan to do is, since I can run Saturn, that means I can run 3DS as well. So, since I can do Saturn again, originally I wanted to do for Chest of Obscurity number 170 would be Daytona USA CCE, but the thing is, the audio kept skipping, and to me that's not a good sign. And I thought about getting the 360 version for Xenia and running that, because the 360 version on the Saturn is missing, like, the sound effects. The sound is fine. It's missing the sound effects to go with the music. Let's see, what else is there? After Persona 5 Royal, I plan to do AI the Somnium Files, because by the time I'm actually done with Persona, it will either end around, if not July is a given, if not July, August, or borderline September, and that'd be pretty much on par with going into October and me going into AI the Somnium Files, and following that will be Silent Hill 2. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that. I also plan to finish, or actually go back to Tales of Legendia, because I started that before the crash, and after the crash, the only thing I could save is the footage, and that's like 5 parts. And I think I put up like 3 or so parts ahead of time. I'm not sure. I will have to check my channel for that, but I will go back to that. And I tell you, the most annoying thing about going through a lot of this stuff as a Let's Player is when you have to replay a game and knowing how far you were, or where you how far you were, and having to replay it all over again to where you stopped at. It's the most annoying thing ever. And I've done it so many times, it's ridiculous. The last game I actually did that for was Rogue Galaxy. And I still haven't finished that yet, let alone Wild Arms 3 or Ni no Kuni. Like I said, it's been busy. Offsite projects been taking most of my time and my energy, so therefore, it is what it is. So therefore, what we're doing? Playing catch up. Everything else, I'm just doing what I'm doing. So with that, when I get back from everything else, I plan to play catch up with the following rest of the month, and then hopefully I could say I'm done with this year. So that said, I am your friendly neighborhood Tenkaichi. And be safe out there, people. There's a lot of crazy, and you don't want to be part of it. Take care. Tenkai Muso. See you next game.